Greetings and welcome to Earthling Cinema. I am your host, Garyx Wormuloid. This week's artifact is Sausage Party, a 90-minute dick joke from Seth Rogen and his writing partner, the guy who wrote with Seth Rogen. The story takes place in an alternate version of Earth where vegetarians can't be so smug anymore because all food items are living, breathing creatures. And not just food, also hygiene products and socks, but not books or utensils or trash cans or clothes or furniture. The rules are confusing. Anyway, the groceries in the supermarket worship the human customers as gods, and they think being purchased is like ascending to heaven, which on Earth was known as the moon. Our protagonists are Frank the Sausage and Brenda the Bun, and they are the horniest motherfuckers you've ever seen.
I can't wait to finally just get up in there.
Look how tight I am.
But they have to wait to have sex until after they die.
When and how deep? And the answer is, as soon as we get to the great beyond, and as deep as you'll fucking let me.
Fortunately, before we have time to think about it too carefully, their packages get chosen, no doubt for some depressing suburban block party. Suddenly, a jar of honey mustard starts spouting off about the afterlife being a lie.
The great beyond is bullshit!
And kills himself, causing a collision that throws most of the important characters off the shopping cart and into movie history. Spurred on by the honey mustard's last words, Frank seeks out Firewater, who tells him great beyond, more like fake beyond, because that shit's made up. Which checks out, because the groceries that were purchased earlier are now being brutally slaughtered. A little chode named Barry manages to escape and ends up at the house of what I'm assuming is a congressman. What with how Earth's Congress was in those days. Look out, Garyx is getting political. The congressman does some bath salts, which allows him to communicate with his groceries.
You ate my goddamn legs!
This freaks him out, because it's the first time he's ever listened to his constituents. Heyo! Alright, that's enough politics for one day. At the supermarket, Frank finds a cookbook that reveals the horrible things that happen to food, such as microwaves and an over-reliance on sriracha. He shows it to the others, but they're not really much of a reading crowd.
You don't respect anyone else's beliefs!
You intolerant piece of shit!
That chode Barry returns with the congressman's head and reveals that the so-called gods can be killed. So the foods proceed to wage war on the humans, murdering them all in cold blood. Then they transition seamlessly into a store-wide, non-denominational fuckfest. After our heroes finish up, Firewater and a piece of Bubblicious tell them they are actually cartoon characters voiced by human celebrities in an alternate dimension.
Edward Norton?
But what do you know? They were able to whip up a portal to that dimension no sweat. They go through the portal to avoid having to explain all the dead humans or deal with the fact that nothing has changed and food will never be safe from consumption for the rest of time. At its core, Sausage Party reflects the rampant disillusionment present during that era of Earth's history, commonly referred to as the Middle Ages. The film's CGI animated food initially resembles the anthropomorphized characters of lighthearted offerings by Pixar and Disney Pixar.
You're all alive and looking at me with your gloves and your little shoes!
But the film shatters the saccharine tone of its contemporaries when it portrays the sinister reality of its many genital metaphors.
They're eating children!
In contrast to the typical animated film, Sausage Party is a cynical parable of religion and its effect on societies, both negative and slightly less negative. The film reduces Earth's major religious groups to a hodgepodge of stereotypes. The sausages and buns subscribe to a puritanical version of Christianity.
We keep our wieners in our packages, that's how it is.
Albeit one that allows them to strut around butt-ass naked. Judaism is represented by a bagel that sounds like Amazon Prime's own Woody Allen.
I'm happy to meet all of you, except for this mashugana cunt over here.
Kareem Abdul-Lavash represents the Muslim faith. He is defined by his hatred for Jews and his regressive attitude toward bitches.
And cover her up already. Show some modesty, woman.
Firewater symbolizes the white conception of Native American spirituality, and the Nazis are in there too, just for kicks. Orderly, synchronized kicks. The supermarket's religious system was concocted by the non-perishables as a means to pacify society and protect them from their own stupid brains, or whatever circulatory mechanism allows these monsters to live. The promise of a great beyond eases the food's suffering, letting them look to their impending demise with plucky optimism. This tactic illustrates the concept of Plato's noble lie, a fictitious story used to persuade individuals to accept their roles.
Everything we've been led to believe is a lie.
Just remember that each time the noble lie is used, Plato's nose grows a little longer. As with any lie, it works best when people don't ask too many questions. Thus, faith is an important element in the foodie community.
But we're not supposed to understand the will of the gods, Frank. They work in mysterious ways.
When Honey Mustard returns from the great beyond and tries to warn everyone, he is ridiculed and silenced,
We shouldn't even be talking to this asshole.
because nobody wants to slide open the Ziploc bag of faith they've worked so hard to seal. The only way to challenge such a stubborn belief is with the incontrovertible proof of a severed head. The film's ultimate message is to embrace hedonism, and then have sex with it. There's no point living your life in anticipation of some pot of gold at the end of the rain box. In the end, you either get eaten and digested, or thrown away to rot. So you might as well put aside your petty differences and pursue as much pleasure as you possibly can. Which is why I film every episode with no pants on. For Earthling Cinema, I'm Garyx Wormuloid. Keep snacking.